Hey y'all, good Thursday. Almost made it to Friday, hadn't we? Boy, these moderate temperatures sure will spoil you into thinking spring's a coming. And it is, but it's still, I guess the official date's about 5 weeks away, a little over 5 weeks. And last frost normally about another a little over 6 weeks away if the pattern stays the same. We probably still got a little cold weather coming, but maybe nothing too bad. Sure getting antsy on this old place to get things back up and moving. Hang with me. I'm going to show y'all what happened today when I went to take off to work this morning. I had a big surprise, and that was a good deal. So we'll be doing that. Hope this signal holds up here on this hill. Y'all looking forward to spring? Y'all can fire off in the comments. We'll read them here in a minute where you're from, and maybe what you're going to be doing this year gardening wise, if that's the case. But no, I'm like a kid at Christmas up here. Started these with sticks about late December. Got them rooted in cups, and they've been in the ground for about a week and a half, 2 weeks now. Look at that. Got my elderberry started. Well, it looks healthy, doesn't it? Now, if we get a cold snap, it ain't going to hurt it because it'll stand the temperatures on down. It's hardened off by now. But I've got 1.5 of 5 rows done, just taking it a little bit at the time. That's just how we have to do it to balance things. But I am proud as punch to get those started and not in the middle of summer when they're going to die on me. But they're looking healthy, getting a little drink along the way, and doing well. But things going good on the place. Goats are happy. The 2 little old bucks are starting to spar, so we're going to have to do something a little different there. Of course, thanks to all the subscribers, that's a whole different feed that the public doesn't see. Of course, you can find out more about that with that subscribe button there on the main page. But try to do 1 or 2 updates a day, video-wise, and different posts, and just kind of let you know what's going on behind the scenes. And I had a pleasant surprise this morning when I was about to head out. My buddy up the road come with his tractor as promised, and we got our first breaking of ground. Now, normally you'd want to do it in the fall, but we just didn't have that option. It'll be just fine. This ground's been farmed before, but this is the first break. If I have to, I'll handle it with a tiller from now, but he'll probably come down one more time and put it together for me. But them some long rows, and we'll start off with potatoes. Of course, a lot of folks will be doing it on Valentine's Day. That's the time they say to do it. This year might not be too wise if you're a moon planter. It's not going to be the right moon cycle on the 14th this year for root crops, but y'all do what you want. I'm going to wait till we start waning after the full moon. 14th, it's starting to wax up to the full moon, so you really want to wait till after that. So we'll have a couple of rows. These about 150 foot long. Them good old red potatoes. Probably plant them about February 24th or so. Be as early as I'd want to do it. And then we'll come next to those. I grew those pinto beans that year. They do well next to potatoes and tomatoes and such. So you don't want to put tomatoes by potatoes, but we're going to put a barrier of 2 rows of pinto beans there between them. And then we'll come out here to our, I believe I'm going to put peas on these 2 rows and good old purple hulls. So hopefully I'll have some purple fingers by mid-June or so. And then we'll pony up here. Now I've got 3 rows left, about 250 foot long. I would do 2 of them in corn, but it's better to plant corn beside each other as much as you can. I've got a whole lot of peppers in there. So I'll probably split these 3 up, put the corn on the top end. Again, I'll just split those 3 rows out and put my peppers down here. They'll do fine together. As far as cucumbers and squash, we'll do those. They're a good hot weather crop, so we'll wait till the potatoes are done about mid-June and then put those in. So just excited about moving along like that. I'll tell you, by that time, I'll be stepping and fetching. Be hard to find me. Be like that old boy that had a big company and had a computer problem, and he called his top employee, IT expert, at home, trying to figure out what to do. Well, little kid answered the phone. That's all right. He had a family. So the boss man says, "Hey, can I talk to your dad real quick? Got a problem at work." He said, "No, sir." He said, well, why not? He said, "Well, he's busy." Okay. "Well, is your mother home?" Yes, sir. All right, well, can I talk to her? No, sir. Kid being polite, but it's making the boss a little angry. He said, well, why not? Well, she's busy too. All right, well, is anybody else there? Yes, sir. A policeman. He said, a policeman? Now the guy's getting worried and mad. He said, well, can I talk to him real quick? No, sir. Well, why not? Well, he's busy. He's talking to mom and dad and the fireman. What's going on? This old boy was upset. Now he's like, there's something bad wrong at my employee's house. Then he hears through the phone a helicopter coming in. He said, is that a helicopter? He said, yep, it's the search helicopter. And the guy's he just confused. Little boy said, the search helicopter just landed. He said, well, my Lord, what's going on? Who are they searching for? The little boy didn't miss a beat. He said, me. So I guess that lends to the other one I heard about, a little girl helping her mother wash the dishes. And they was working there together, bonding a little bit. And the little girl got to looking at her mama's hair. Said, Mama, you got a couple little white streaks in your black hair there. Yes, honey, I do. Well, why is that? Where did those come from? Well, baby, when you upset me and you worry me, I get one. When you stress me out or make me mad, I get one. And that's just what happens. Every time you act up, sometimes those little hairs will appear in Mama's head. The little girl took it in stride, and they kept washing the dishes. She was drying a bowl, and she stopped and looked up at her mama and said, well, Mother, if that's why you're getting them, why is Grandma's hair all white? Don't mess with the kids, right? That is right. But that's how we get gray hair. A little kid hiding in the cupboard on the telephone, and they're looking for him the whole time. That happened with my buddy, my wingman, Jordan. He's taking off to spread his wings here in the next few weeks. But that's a long story. It involved the Texas State Railroad up around Ruskin, Palestine, and a missing child that loved a conductor. Boy, we sure in a panic. But luckily we found him. But if y'all have ever been through that, it's the worst feeling in the world. I think we all have temporarily, whether it be just losing for a second in a store. But anyway, we'll move on. I am happy about this plowed earth. I don't think, as soon as I rounded that corner, he'd already started breaking it. I could smell it. Y'all can't, but I can. One of my favorite smells in the world right there. It's good old East Texas Sandy Loam, right? See, my granddad did that. He'd find a field, and of course he leased land all over Texas growing watermelons in the 50s. But that's what he'd do before he'd lease it. He'd break a little bit of it up and see if it's passed the smell test. Huh? Well, I got to tell this one. I read it the other day. This one had me laughing for real. So lawyer and a tax accountant was on a flight from LA to New York City. Long flight. They happened to be sitting next to each other. Tax accountant was going to use the time ahead of a busy week to get a good nap. But the lawyer wanted to talk. Tax accountant didn't want to really do that. Didn't know the man. But the attorney kept insisting. He said, hey, man, let's play a game. Tax accountant said, well, man, I'd really rather just kind of lay here and take a nap. Lawyer said, oh, come on, man. It's fun. It's easy. I'll ask you a question. And if you don't know the answer, you pay me $5. Tax accountant just kind of rolled over and looked out the window trying to sleep. Lawyer kept on persisting. He said, come on, it's just something to pass the time. I tell you what, if I ask you a question and you don't know the answer, you pay me $5. But if you ask me a question and I don't know the answer, I'll pay you $50. Tax accountant said, you know what? I might as well get this done because this guy's going to wear me out from here all the way there. I ain't going to get no rest. So he said, all right, we'll do it. Let's go. So the lawyer, smug as he was, he said, all right, what's the exact distance from the earth to the moon in miles? Tax accountant shrugged, pulled out a $5 bill and gave it to the lawyer. The lawyer laughed. He said, all right, your turn. He said, okay, what goes up a hill with 3 legs and comes down with 4? The lawyer got to thinking about it. He started looking on his laptop there to see if he had anything to reference it. Then he tapped into the old airplane Wi-Fi and started searching all over the internet. Meanwhile, the tax accountant rolled over and started napping. Well, this went on for a while. Then the lawyer sending emails and messages to all the people he knows, Googling it. He couldn't find an answer to save his life. About an hour and a half had passed, and he finally gave up. So he pulled out $50, nudged the old tax accountant, aggravating him, waking him up, paid him his money. Tax accountant, he rolled back over and went to sleep and said, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What's the answer? Since I got it wrong and I paid you $50, what's the answer? Tax accountant just pulled out a $5 bill, handed it to the lawyer, and went back to sleep. Outsmarted him at his own game, didn't he? That's what them old goats did to me. Thought that fence would hold them. I done had to repair it twice now, but it still ain't bad. We got it about where it needs to be now. Jordan and I was shoring it up with some chain link earlier. And two old bucks coming of age and starting to act goofy. But they still ain't crazy as DW was. Well, y'all, let me do a quick roll call and see what y'all's thoughts are on spring and where you at. We'll check off for the evening. Chickens are coming on in there. Of course, we had a catastrophe with the incubator. I don't know how much I've shared with that publicly. Of course, the subscribers are in the loop on the details of it, and man, I had to rig it up with an oven light and all. It's all kind of stuff. But I did a little candling on them last night, and I've got a couple that quit. Get that little blood ring around them. But I think we're going to have some on right around Valentine's Day. So that's going to put pressure on me to go ahead and get this chicken coop put together. But I still got time. They'll be in a brooder in there for a while. But got another incubator coming, so we'll make the jump. But boy, I hate to see it. Of course, I guess it's going to end up scrambled eggs anyway if we didn't incubate them. But still, once it starts developing that life, it's sure tough on a farm to lose anything. That's something. But I think we're going to be all right. So maybe we'll have some chickens to talk about, some baby ones. It's going to be a surprise mix. All of them are pretty where I got them from, but that's kind of fun, seeing different color eggs and different breeds coming out of them things. We'll just have to see what we get, right? Like old Forrest Gump said, a box of chocolates. All right, let me see who all's on here real quick, and we'll call it an evening. Scrolling back up. There's Phelps Diamond. Even to you. Great to see you as well. Let's see. There's Kenneth Cantrell, one of the top fans on the page. Good evening to you, sir. Thanks for coming in and saying howdy. There's Maurice James Foster. Well, thanks. I just like doing a little reading and finding out stuff that tickles me or drives a point home. So glad y'all enjoy them too. I'll tell you, I've never been a TikToker. I don't think I ever will be, not in the true sense of the word. But somebody was encouraging me the other night, so I got a little old account over there. And, man, I forgot how many videos I've done just walking around this place. Of course, they're all stored on YouTube. Those late coming, I've been doing these little old things. They kind of developed into different themes or whatever since 2018. And probably easiest to sort it by date. But, man, I'm kind of depressed seeing some of them old ones. Of course, it's wintertime. The farm always looks rough in the winter. Look at that old Katavi tree. It's done. Saw that the other day. That's normally kind of where I stage my truck. I'm going to the field, but I ain't doing it now. I hate to see that. It's just giving up. We'll pull it down, but I done got distracted, didn't I? Well, I'm going to finish this anyway. But it's, I don't know. Maybe it'll grow that way for another 100 years. I don't know. I don't know if I want to chance it. I might try to give it one more season, because those that know anything about this tree knows it produces good fishing worms. It's Katavi worms, and this one gets stripped about 3 times a summer with those. I mean, they're just crawling everywhere out here, and I'll scoop them up and process them and freeze them for when it's catfishing time, because there ain't nothing better to catch a catfish on. But I hope that thing don't fall on me when I'm out here walking around. That'd be a mess, wouldn't it? That'd sure go viral. But what I was saying, all in videos, little short stories. Of course, TikTok's a little different format. And I'm probably too antiquated to operate on there, but put a few of them on there so people seem to like them, so I may do that along the way. Some of them ones I had to dig through them old videos to find. I'm like, that's pretty good, Johnson. Forgot I said that. Oh, well, that's all right. I think the reason I started, well, I know the reason I started this way back in the day. when I first moved back in here, it was owned by the family, but not lived in by anybody in the family for a while. It had got bad. Of course, it makes, just like you would, an old home place, you drive by and it looks rough. Well, they knew I was coming back in, so I was doing, a morning video and an evening video, real short, and just showing this big, you couldn't see this chicken house back then, if y'all remember. You couldn't see none of this. It was just trees as big as over the top of it, bushes. So I started kind of clearing it a little bit and sharing that. And then over time, sharing memories, I noticed all kind of folks watching. It wasn't family. I wait a minute. So time moved on. We got it cleared up, started planting and gardening and sharing stories and memories. And here we are. So that's the long and short of it. Anyway, if it brings a little light and a little joy to somebody along the way and encourage them just to go one more day, the mission accomplished, right? Let's see here. I got to get back to this roll calling and get done with this thing. There's Paul Denman from Tasmania, Australia. He checked in, I think, this morning on a comment. Appreciate that, sir. I don't know if am I standing on top of you? Ain't hurting your head if you're down under. That's rough country out there too, y'all. No lie. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see who else we got on here. There's Miss Donna Wallace saying howdy. Gary Harrington, howdy to you. Let's see, Maurice James Foster, watching from Maryland. Maryland, I said that wrong. That shows I ain't from there, doesn't it? It's Maryland. I think, isn't it? Maryland. Not Maryland, it's Maryland. Can't wait to get back to Texas. Well, come on. We could use the help. We got enough of them coming in. A lot of people moving in. We're not going to get into that. Karen Renee finally caught me live. Yes, ma'am. How are you? She's a little north of us. Yes, Kenneth, they are really good fishing bait, those Katavi worms are. There's Gene Du Bois Windsor. Swift, Texas, just up the road. That ain't far at all. I can't throw a rock that far, but it could be done. Not by me. Good to see you checking in. There's Miss Vivian Howe, dear co-worker from back in the day in Waco at Cabela's. Boy, that was like a family, I'll tell you what. I miss those folks. She and her husband came and visited here a while back. I guess it's been 2 or 3 years. And I think they're living the dream around Lake Livingston. Had a house out there one time. It's pretty country. Thank you for checking in, Vivian. Well, I think I showed y'all this old well. We finally got it out of the ground. Remember it had fallen in over here? My neighbor come over the other day and we was able to dig it up and get it out here. That thing's heavy, old and heavy. But my plans are we're going to put it right back where it was. There wasn't no water 20 foot down. I didn't expect there to be, but we'll put it. I remember where it was. I took that tree was one of the marks. I guess I better go put something on the wall to make sure. But I remember where it was at. No, it wasn't. It was these 2 poles, that fence post. That's what it was. It was right here. Them old dogs. Anybody got country dogs already know. Look, they always pulling something up here. That's probably a Wampus cat or a Bigfoot, baby. I don't know. You don't know with dogs around. But we're going to put that well back up over here. I'll probably sink it about 2 foot and just make it decorative, put a little cover over it. This is where it was. This is where it's going back. But I had made the mistake of taking the cover off because it was dilapidated when I moved in, and that rain inundated and collapsed the ground around it and made it fall. But we got that hazard fixed. All right, I rambled too long. Good Lord. My belly's grumbling and probably need to get in there and rust me up something to eat. Right? Thank y'all. Y'all have a good evening. Subscribe if you want to. It's $1 a month. Of course, if you don't like to hear me talking, don't do it. I'm on there more than I think I need to be. I think some of them want a refund and I'm on there too much, but I don't guess you don't have to look. At least I had to give them $1's worth, right? Oh, it's all good. Thank y'all for the support. And we'll visit with you next time. Be the light.